Hi everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for part 2 of our Commander NV400 day-night scope review. Now, I'm out here at the property. We're at twilight right now, so I'm going to turn this guy on, see what it looks like with the day mode, night mode. I went ahead and took there's the extra shading tube that you have on here that you can use. The sun's already going down quite a bit, so I don't think I'm going to need it, so I took it off. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could just pop this open at this point because it's not that bright. And I'm going to go ahead and start recording and see what it looks like right now through this in what's almost twilight. We're not quite there, but it is getting dark. So let's see what kind of views we get through this scope. Okay, so I am recording from the scope at this point. Now it's a little blurry, so I'm gonna, let's see here, I'm gonna focus it in using the front objective. Oh, sorry, I got a mosquito around my ear. Let's see here. That seems to be about as sharp as it's gonna get, which isn't bad. We're here at about, well, a little over 50 yards. And sorry, I need to speak up because I'm sure you can probably barely hear me. Let's see here. So it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Let me see if I should switch to starlight at this point. Let me see if I can do that while it's recording. Well, it's telling me to remove the lens shade. Yeah, I think for starlight, you can see that the colors change. It's probably way too bright for nighttime at this point. Let me close the cap. No, it's not helping at all. Yeah, it's probably just still a little bright for starlight. But not bad, not bad. It's pretty sharp. You can see here, I'm zooming out all the way. First focal plane, you can see the reticle shrink and grow as I zoom in. So let me zoom in as far as it goes. Wow, that's quite a zoom. Ooh, much more than I need. So that's 50 yards. That's maximum zoom right there. So probably would work better at 100 yards. So let me zoom out a little bit. A little more. Let me go back one. There we go. And make sure we got it focused. Yeah, it's about as focused as it's gonna get. Let's see here. Sorry for this moving around. Not bad. I mean, it looks pretty good. Let me switch it back to day mode. Well, that's night time. And there's daytime. And there's star. Okay, let me go back to daytime, nighttime, daytime. There we go. Let me go ahead and take a couple of shots here. I am going to sight this guy in because it's not sighted in yet, and then we can take some shots at steel and see how well we do once the sun completely goes down. Okay, I've done the first step of trying to sight in the reticle, and it's a very interesting method. Basically, what you do is when you go to the settings, you'll keep the white reticle at the point of aim, and you'll move a separate little reticle to where the bullet hole is. Now, I'm using a kind of a rough Caldwell bag here. I don't have a great rifle rest. So doing that, it's supposed to zero. So let's see how close I am to zero. Ooh, pretty close. You can see, let me zoom in here. You can see where I'm hitting there. So just slightly low and to the right. So let me try to adjust it some more. I don't know if I can adjust it while recording. Let's see here. No, I don't think I can get the menu up while it's recording. So I'm gonna have to stop recording and do that process again. It won't take very long. So here we are. It's definitely the end of twilight. And you can see here, it still looks pretty bright comparatively. It's starting to get a little grainy because it's getting darker. Let me see if I can set it to a starlight mode. There we go. That's starlight mode. Kind of makes it pink. I can still see it very well. So that's nighttime, night mode. It's pretty bright with a little bit of twilight. Let me see here. And I do have a light here. Let me get this back on target. So I gotta switch this bag around a little bit. There we go. So I have the, I've got the flashlight on right now, but I'm going to turn it off because there's still too much light. Even in twilight, I mean, it's barely, I mean, you can see on the GoPro, it's pretty dark out here. But if you see here through the scope in twilight with the night vision on, you can see pretty well, even with the day vision on. Let me try that again. I will say there's a lot of buttons on this. And even right now with twilight, it's pretty bright, and you could certainly shoot something back there. I mean, I can't see those targets with my bare eyes. Like, it just looks black at this point, and through this scope, it looks perfectly shootable. I could aim at those targets and I could shoot those targets. And since I did adjust my reticle one more time, let's go ahead and let me see. Yeah, it is getting a little grainy. It is getting a little grainy. Might be easier to see my bullet on that target. So let me shoot that target and see where I'm hitting. It looks like, let me zoom in. Oop, wrong way. Yeah, just slightly. I didn't hit the orange dot, but I just touched it on the top right of it. So pretty good, pretty good. I'd want to have a better bag, a better system to have this rifle in some sort of a rifle rest before I try to fine tune any more of the sighting in at this time. Because at this point I'm wiggling too much in this bag. So that's another thing. If you're using the scope, it is so precise that you should have a really good rifle rest when you're trying to sight it in. But I can see my steel target still very, very bright. Sun will be down here in just a second. Once the sun goes down, I'll go ahead and turn it back on. I'm going to go ahead and try to see how well it looks with the night flashlight on, and see if we can illuminate those targets and take some shots in the dark. Okay, we're not quite pitch black yet, and I've been monkeying a little bit with the infrared flashlight. I've got you can adjust it here a little bit, so I need to tighten it up. But the beam, you can focus or you can spread out. Right there, it's as focused as it gets, and then you can spread the beam quite a bit. At 50 yards, the spread beam seems to work very, very well. If you want to look at something further out, let me start checking further towards the left there. Then we're going well past 50 yards. Those trees back there are about 100 yards. And see, if you get that beam tight, you can really, really see far out there. Let me zoom in, and then you can focus a little bit. And yeah, you can see the leaves of my trees over there, very, very far off. So that flashlight's really great. For purposes of lighting up your night scope when you're on the night vision option, and for 50 yards it's incredibly too bright. Let me see here, let me zoom out a little bit. It's more than you need. You can focus it if you want to, but really at 50 yards from what I'm seeing, if you spread out the light a bit there, I've got the more general spread out light. Look how well that works. Look how well that works. So yeah, very impressive, very impressive. So gosh, once again, gonna give it a few more minutes, waiting for it to be pitch black, and then we'll try this again. And here we are. Twilight is almost all gone. I had to put my little headlamp on so that I can see what I'm doing out here because, as I said, it's a moonless night. And out here in the middle of nowhere, we are very, very far from any city. And there's little to no light pollution out here. So if there is no moon and the sun goes down, it gets pitch black out here. And I was smart enough to move my GoPro to this side, which is what I should have done a while back, because when you're shooting an AR-15, well, you know, it ejects that way, and I swear I had my GoPro, so I'm lucky I hadn't hit my GoPro at this time. So the targets are down there in the distance, which you probably cannot see. Let me go ahead and turn off my headlamp so I can turn on this scope again. Let's see here. So I'm turning on the scope. Now the scope also has options to mess with the brightness of the screen, the brightness of the buttons, anything of that sort that you want to use. Now it is dark. It is already on nighttime. That's what I had left it on before I turned it off. And it looks like I'm recording already, so that's interesting. But let's see here. Let me zoom in. Ooh, it gets a bit grainy in the dark. I don't have the flashlight on, but look, even without the flashlight on, I said we have a very, very, very little light left here, and you can still see no problem. And even at this distance, it is not a problem to hit these targets. Oh, fortunately, it looks like I didn't seat my magazine properly there. Let's take another shot. Yeah, looks great. Now let's, I keep wanting to give it a few more minutes, and I'm going to do that again, but I need it pitch black before I turn that flashlight on, because you don't even need the flashlight at this point with any ambient light. The nighttime scope, and look at my targets over there. Ooh, did you see that flash? That is lightning from far away. That's how sensitive this scope is. Now, in the low light, obviously, as you start to zoom in, you can see the graininess there. At least I see graininess on my side. As I said in the first video, the resolution of the video that I'm seeing through the eyepiece is not as good as the resolution of the video that it is recording, but I'm assuming it's also looking pretty grainy. So let's go ahead and turn on the flashlight. Ooh, look at that. Now that is on its highest setting, I think here. No, that's the lowest setting. Let's see here. Where is that the highest setting? Yeah, that's the highest setting. Okay. So with the highest setting, wow. I mean, it lights that up very, very bright. I mean, I could start trying to, let's see here. Let me get zoomed in a little bit more. Yeah, see the graininess disappears when you're zoomed in. I don't know if I can see if I can, there we go. Looks a little better there. Now let's see if we can see where we're hitting. In fact, I'm going to shoot at one of the smaller targets. Let me shoulder this a little bit better. As I said, this bag isn't the best. Let's take a third shot. Now let me see if I zoom in, if I can see where I'm hitting. Ooh, it's a bit grainy. Yeah, I don't think I can focus beyond that. But yeah, right there, you can't see it, but I am hitting on target. I'm going to take a picture of that and post it right now next to the video. But it is hitting on target. That is great. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit again. I would have liked to have set this target out a little bit further, but I mean, it is what it is. Look, with that flashlight, I mean, that's 50 yards, and you can see much, much further out. So it's just a matter, here, I'm gonna swivel over to the left. We got a blind over there that's probably, let me see here. See that blind? That's probably 200 yards away. Let's see how well you can see that. So yeah, with this flashlight, this scope does great. You can see things very, very far away. Let's get back on our target over here. Just barely any twilight left. Let me turn off the flashlight and see how dark it gets. Yeah, you can see how dark it is. It gets grainy pretty quickly. Like there's a little bit. Let me go to the other settings just so you can see. So, is it gonna do it? So that's day, is that day mode? Yeah, that's day mode. Yeah, you can't really see much anymore. Let's move to starlight. Will it do it? Come on, starlight. That's starlight. And you can see a bit with starlight. I mean, you can make out shapes, but not great. And let's go to night mode here. Come on, night mode. Nope, that's picture within picture. Don't want that. Night mode. There we go. There's a night mode. Very grainy because it's very, very dark. The only time it lights up is when we're getting a little bit of the heat lightning. Turn the flashlight back on. Woo! Look at that. Yeah, I mean, if there was hogs out there that I was hunting at night, this thing would be deadly. Yeah, this is something else. Yeah, I mean, it just, this makes nighttime hunting so very easy. And for $500, you know, you get this whole package. That's quite a bit. That is quite a bit. So I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes. What time is it? Yeah, I mean, it's sundown was well over 30 minutes ago. It was about 40 minutes ago. So I'm surprised that we have any twilight left, but I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and try it one more time. Okay, it's officially pitch black out here. The only time you'll see any light is looks like a storm coming in, because in the distance I'm seeing some lightning, which is wonderful because it's hot and dry and dusty out here. You might hear some other booms going on because yesterday was 4th of July. I don't know how quickly I'll get this video edited and up. It'll probably be a few weeks, but this is July 5th, just so you know. And I moved the table back a bit. Let me see here. I'm going to start recording on the camera. So let me go ahead and turn this light off so I can see. And that means you won't really see anything out of the GoPro. All you're seeing there is the 3 lights that signify that the infrared flashlight is on its highest setting, because there is a medium and low setting, and those light up so you can see what your setting's at. And now you're seeing through my scope, and at high setting, let me see how far back I went. I can figure that out by turning on the infrared. There we go. 74 yards, 74 and a half yards. Okay, so that's where we're at. I put up the picture earlier of the target that I was shooting at, which was that one right there. And boy, I did group those bullets really, really well. I mean, it's only 50 yards, but they grouped really, really well. I'm very impressed with this scope. So let me go ahead and fire a few more shots here at some steel. Like I said, look, you know, this is almost 80 yards with this flashlight, and I've got the flashlight on open mode, which means the light is spread out. I didn't focus the light. So I have a feeling you could probably focus this up to maybe 200 yards and see no problem. You can see well behind my target back there with the light spread out on the highest setting. So let's see here. Yep. No problem at all. I mean, I could zoom out, I could zoom in, and probably zoom in more than I really need to be. Let me zoom out a little bit. And I assume that quick brightness you're seeing after I shoot is the flash. I have a birdcage, well, I have the standard A2 flash hider, I think, which shoots the flash straight up. So that's probably blinding us for a quick second. Woo. So let me go ahead and fire a few more rounds here, because this is just too much fun. Woo! And at this point, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, it was a lot of fun. This is much more impressive than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot easier to sight in than I thought it was going to be. Literally, you just keep the reticle. The reticle was split up into a white and a red reticle. You keep the white one on your point of aim, and then you just move the red one to the points of impact. So technically, if you move it to the point of impact and keep your white one on the point of aim correctly on the first shot, then you're pretty much sighted in after that. I think I did it twice just to fine tune it, and you could see that I was hitting the target very, very well. So that makes it easy. The ballistics calculator, once you get that information in there, makes it easy, or helps you have different types of ammunition you want to shoot out of here. And every time you use one of those different ammunitions, you just basically set your scope up that you're using that ammo, and it'll give you that reticle if you want to do the laser rangefinder and put it on your target, and it'll tell you exactly where you need to aim. So pretty amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was a fun video to shoot. Like I said, I haven't had a lot of experience with night scopes, and this one, for the budget, for $500, to have a scope that has a laser rangefinder, an infrared flashlight to illuminate for you, ballistics calculator abilities, and you could see the quality of scope and how quickly it was to sight it in and to hit targets on my first time out, almost out to 80 yards. So a great scope, certainly something you should look into if nighttime hunting is an option for you. And as always, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the video as well, and I will see you in the next one.